eNCA lunchtime. Suspects accused of attacking a mosque and planting explosive devices around Durban appearing briefly in the Verulam Magistrate's court today. They face charges of terrorism, kidnapping and arson, as well as contravening the Explosives Act. Let me take you live to Durban. eNCA's Tatia, good afternoon to you. Why such a short appearance today?
Well, Jeremy, the expectation was that a voice expert from the SAPS was meant to be present in court today, but we were told that he wasn't able to make the trip because of he hadn't received the approval from the SAPS regarding the finances that were needed to facilitate that trip. So as a result of that, the case was postponed until May. Now, those voice samples relate to accused number one, Farhad Huma, who in this case the state alleges is the ringleader of that gang that they've linked to those Woolworths bombings, as well as an attack at the Imam Hussein Mosque in Verulam. So those voice samples were meant to be taken from him in order to link him to some of those cases, or rather some of those charges that they're currently facing.
Why has the prosecutor been changed?
That was the other interesting development that had come out in court today. So Adele Barnard, specialist prosecutor, was at the last minute told that she had been removed from the case. In fact, she said that she'd received a call just shortly before we got into court this morning, and it was very short notice, in fact. So the reasons that the NPA are giving in this case is that there's been a shift in how cases are handled. So it's meant to be handled at a regional level. So in this case, Barnard's provincial counterpart will now take over the case. The NPA says it's not a sign that it's fizzling out in any way, or that there's not that much priority being given to this case, but really it's just related to the fact that they are now trying to streamline the process to ensure that cases are handled specifically in those different regions.
And previously, outside the court, if I remember correctly, there's been a fair amount of activity. What about today?
Not so much today. You know, the one constant that we've seen throughout this case is that there have been members of the Imam Hussein Mosque that have been there religiously over the past few months, the last 6 or 7 months or so, and they've held up banners and they've been trying to get their message across that they want to see justice served in this case, because it was one of their members that was killed in that mosque attack that we saw last year. So as much as there were fewer people this time around, the chairperson of that mosque was there. He was quite upset that this case is being further delayed. But it seems like, you know, if I had to just judge from the fact that the courtroom wasn't full and that there weren't many people outside, it does seem that the public interest that we saw at the start of this case has started to wane a little bit.
All right, Tatia, thank you very much indeed. Now,